Normally, one would have to imagine an outgoing president would like to see his vice president become his successor. That wasn't exactly the case for Barack Obama when it came to Joe Biden. Free Trump/Melania Coin, limited supplies remaining. Obama wanted Hillary Clinton to be president, not Joe. Check this out. Bold mine, voter poll, do you support term limits for members of Congress? From The Atlantic, Barack Obama stood in the Rose Garden, watching Joe Biden announce that he wasn't going to run for president, exactly what he wanted and had helped make happen. 4 years later, the president has come a long way on his views of a Biden run. For many Democrats, Biden's 2020 announcement today is the bookend to the anxiety and regret they've been filled with since election night 2016, when they watched the blue wall of Midwestern states fall away from Hillary Clinton. He would have held on to those white working-class voters and beaten Donald Trump, they believe. He would have won. Obama played a far different role in the summer of 2015, when he urged everyone in the White House to give Biden time and space, as he talked about getting into the 2016 presidential race. Obama had decided early on that he wanted Clinton to be his successor, and that she was the best fit for the job and would be the strongest candidate. Obama didn't think running was a good idea for Biden, politically or personally. Biden was in pain after the death of his son, and he would figure this out on his own, Obama told his aides, but he wanted it to be Biden's decision. Biden figures to have the best shot against President Trump in 2020, along with Democrat Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders. Vote now. Do you agree with Trump's strong support for the Second Amendment? For America's sake, if Trump were to lose the electoral vote, Biden would be the far better option. There was even once a report that Biden would swim naked in front of female Secret Service agents, just because. Joe will also have to answer for a scandal involving Ukraine. From The Hill. 2 years after leaving office, Joe Biden couldn't resist the temptation last year to brag to an audience of foreign policy specialists about the time as vice president that he strong-armed Ukraine into firing its top prosecutor. In his own words, with video cameras rolling, Biden described how he threatened Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko in March 2016 that the Obama administration would pull $1 billion in U.S. loan guarantees, sending the former Soviet republic toward insolvency, if it didn't immediately fire Prosecutor General Viktor Shokin. I said, "You are not getting the billion. I'm going to be leaving here in, I think it was about 6 hours. I looked at them and said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor is not fired, you're not getting the money," Biden recalled telling Poroshenko. Continued. Well, son of a bitch, he got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid at the time, Biden told the Council on Foreign Relations event, insisting that President Obama was in on the threat. Interviews with a half-dozen senior Ukrainian officials confirm Biden's account, though they claim the pressure was applied over several months in late 2015 and early 2016, not just 6 hours of one dramatic day. Whatever the case, Poroshenko and Ukraine's parliament obliged by ending Shokin's tenure as prosecutor. Shokin was facing steep criticism in Ukraine, and among some U.S. officials, for not bringing enough corruption prosecutions when he was fired, but Ukrainian officials tell me there was one crucial piece of information that Biden must have known but didn't mention to his audience. The prosecutor he got fired was leading a wide-ranging corruption probe into the natural gas firm Burisma Holdings that employed Biden's younger son, Hunter, as a board member. But then, as Biden's 2020 campaign ramped up over the past year, Lutsenko, the Ukrainian prosecutor that Biden once hailed as a solid replacement for Shokin, began looking into what happened with the Burisma case that had been shut down. Lutsenko told me that, While reviewing the Burisma investigative files, he discovered members of the board obtained funds as well as another U.S.-based legal entity, Rosemont Seneca Partners LLC, for consulting services. But what makes Lutsenko's account compelling is that federal authorities in America, in an entirely different case, uncovered financial records showing just how much Hunter Biden's and Archer's company received from Burisma while Joe Biden acted as Obama's point man on Ukraine. Nonetheless, some hard questions should be answered by Biden as he prepares, potentially, to run for president in 2020. Was it appropriate for your son and his firm to cash in on Ukraine while you served as point man for Ukraine policy? What work was performed for the money Hunter Biden's firm received? Did you know about the Burisma probe? And when it was publicly announced that your son worked for Burisma, should you have recused yourself from leveraging the U.S. policy to pressure the prosecutor who very publicly pursued Burisma? Let us hear your thoughts. Poll: should Crook Tillery be tossed in jail? You might like Let's Block Ads. Why?